Why you always drink water?
Well, I know. Why do you always drink it from your bottle?
Oh, God.
You fat fuck.
It's like you talk too much.
I know. What's happening, everybody? Justin, Bridgewater's Finest on YouTube, Blockbuster_guy on Twitter. This is going to be one of the videos that I've been looking forward to doing the most, probably, up until WrestleMania comes around, and then that'll be the one I'm going to do the most. This is our 2012 WWE Royal Rumble prediction video.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be good. Before we get going, I promised you a special guest, and I have a guest, and he is special.
I am.
And I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, Nick here from the name nobody will use. Also, RN Stevenson on Twitter.
Excellent.
Howdy.
Yeah. And I'll link to both of his stuff, his things in the description of the video there if you want to check out what he is doing or will be doing.
Not on it right now, but it will be in the next couple of months.
Way to pimp yourself. Not anything good on there now, but
well, if you like blotchy old crap.
Which they're watching my video, so obviously they do. Alright, so again, this is a preview and prediction video for the 2012 WWE Royal Rumble. That is going down on Sunday. And just to give you a little bit of sort of a preamble on us, we've been friends since high school.
Grade 9.
Grade 9, yeah, grade 9 I guess was when you moved in.
Yeah.
That would have been 1999?
Yeah.
2000, something like that. Yeah. So, in addition to having known each other for a long time, we've both been wrestling fans for a long time. I know I started watching wrestling in the early 90s with my grandfather, so we're talking pretty much 20 years.
Wow.
And you started
around the exact same time that I moved down.
Yeah.
You guys got me into the whole wrestling.
Yeah, fair enough. We've both done backyard wrestling before, which was a whole lot of fun, and those are stories for another day. And we've done some projects together before. We've done stuff like the Immortal Helmet Head, which hopefully, like we said, might show up on his channel a little bit later.
Hopefully soon if I find the videotape.
It was more his brainchild, but I played an integral part.
You created it.
Yeah.
I just gave you the idea. You ran with it.
You just gave me a bike helmet and that
scarf.
You know, that's what it turned into. Anyways, so what we're going to be talking about in this video, we're going to be talking about potential predictions for people that might come back. Some predictions for the outcomes of the matches. And predictions, of course, for who we think is going to outright win the Royal Rumble. And maybe even some storylines based on that heading into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The Royal Rumble to me is the most fun fun pay-per-view of the year. It's not the best one because WrestleMania is clearly the best one, but this is definitely the one that's the most fun and the hardest to actually try to accurately predict.
It is. You have 30 men in the ring.
Yeah.
And one winner at the end.
Exactly. And you can sit there and think, well, geez, they could do 100 different things with this. Like, it's almost like you could build a storyline around whoever wins the. It doesn't matter who wins the Royal Rumble. You could build a storyline around it, which is great. And what makes it so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have our handy dandy papers. Exactly. I put a lot of work into this, man. I was excited. So I thought beforehand maybe we can talk about. Actually, why don't we save the actual Rumble match for the end? Okay. Let's talk about
that is a big match.
Exactly. So we can sort of talk about the rest of the matches, which are really secondary to the actual Rumble match itself.
Well, I guess. I mean, one of the matches I am looking forward to is CM Punk versus
that dude.
Yeah, that dude,
Dolph Ziggler.
With Laryngitis as the referee.
Johnny Laryngitis. Johnny
Ace. Big Johnny Laryngitis himself.
Exactly. I don't know. I know you've seen it. I don't know whether other people have seen it. There's a picture floating around YouTube and like meme-based websites. From last week on Raw when CM Punk picked up Laryngitis to give him the GTS, and Laryngitis has this completely emotionless look on his face.
I've seen that. You have it up on your page.
I have it up on my Facebook, and the tag on it is "Not a single fuck was given that day," which is awesome, because you'd think, like, you know, he picks him up and he's going to do this. You'd think maybe, I don't know, he might try to struggle out of it, or be like, oh my god, I'm going to get kneed in the face.
Yeah.
Nah. It's like he's...
Yeah, I know this is going to happen.
It's like he's walking down a hallway. It's further proof why this guy needs to not be on TV anymore.
Absolutely.
So that's like the one enduring vision of this match before it happens, is him giving Laurinaitis the GTS and him just not giving a fuck. Like, whatever.
Spoiler, we know his name is Laurinaitis. But yeah.
We prefer to say either John Laurinaitis or Johnny Ace.
The first time that I heard Santino go Laurinaitis, yeah, that was it right there.
That's it. That's his name. So, Punk and Ziggler, I'm a really big fan of CM Punk having the belt. I think I would really like to see him keep the belt till WrestleMania.
Oh, for sure.
So with that said, I think CM Punk's going to win the match. I don't know about you.
I think he's going to win the match just because of the circumstances around Laryngitis right now.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Where he does have the stipulations on him that Triple H just come back to review his job.
Exactly, and that's actually, I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that leads into one of the only other prediction I have for this match. I actually think Triple H is going to show up at the Rumble.
That would be awesome.
Not necessarily in the Rumble match, because I think even he would say this. Triple H doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble anymore. He's won his titles. If he wins another one, great, but he doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to get there. So I'm hoping, against hope, that he doesn't actually show up in the Rumble match itself.
Yeah.
That being said, I think at some point during the Punk and Ziggler match, that he's going to show up in some capacity. And I think that's really going to sort of freak Laryngitis out. And that will somehow play a role in the match. I don't know which way, but... so I think at some point, I'm really hoping that Triple H actually shows up at some point during this match. But yeah, so I guess we both think CM Punk's going to win the match.
I think CM Punk is going to win, yes.
Yeah.
I think it might go down that Laryngitis might try and screw him out, and that's when Triple H will come out on that and really, like, freak him out. Yeah. And then the match will go into CM Punk's favor.
Right. Actually, it was kind of funny watching... we were watching Aftermath last night, which, by the way... Watch WWE Aftermath on the Score in Canada. Arda Ocal, former WWE referee Jimmy Corderas, and hosted by Renee Paquette. A1 show.
First time I've actually watched it last night.
Oh, was it?
Yes. Yeah. I normally turn it off, but... You know.
Right. No, it's a really good show, especially since they stopped having Mauro Ranallo on it. Sorry, Mauro and I have a beef. Anyways... They mentioned kind of a fun thing last night, a fun potential thing to... My Patriots glass has to make an appearance in every video. They mentioned something last night that could be really cool. At some point, like we think, or I think anyways, at some point Punk and Laryngitis are going to get into it. I think Punk's gonna beat the living hell out of them.
It's been working up to that. And
yeah.
I think... with Punk and Laryngitis, it's kind of like they're trying to go back to the Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon days.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the same.
They even mentioned that it was a match. It was a match involving Stone Cold. I can't remember exactly which match it was that they said. I'll have to go back and watch the episode again. But something happened where the referee was knocked out. Maybe Vince was the referee even too. Austin had the pin, and he reached over and he grabbed Vince's hand as he's unconscious and made him count the 3. I could see something like that maybe happening, and I'm glad that the folks on Aftermath brought that up, because it might be a cool way to do it. I prefer to think that Triple H is going to show up at some point, but you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're both on Punk in that match. We might as well do the other title match on the card.
Absolutely. Which,
at this point, is still, I guess, a triple threat match until we hear otherwise.
It is still a triple threat match. Now, I guess the reports on YouTube and stuff, or not YouTube, but Google and stuff, is that he is out with a hyperextended knee.
Okay. This match, by the way, is World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan taking on both the Big Show and Mark Henry inside of a steel cage for the World Heavyweight Championship. And for those of us, I should say, that watched SmackDown last night or got access to the tapings, because as we all know, they tape SmackDown on Tuesdays. They don't air it till Friday. Mark Henry appeared to have suffered a hyperextended right knee. Again.
I don't know.
We don't know yet.
He kind of fell down and wasn't moving.
He looked like he got...
He looked like he had a heart attack.
Yeah, it did. He either had a heart attack or got hit with, like, Booker T's slapjack from WCW. Anybody remember that? He always carried around that, like, looked like a shoehorn, and he just whacked people in the back of the head with it, and then they fall down
go
dead.
to the referees and they say they had broken back.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. We'll talk about Zack Ryder in a little bit. Jesus Christ. So anyways, it seemed like it was a pretty legit injury, because right at that point they cut to commercial.
Yeah.
And they come back and they have this very clearly stitched together ending.
I've never seen that happen.
No, I've seen it happen before, but not very often.
Yeah.
Usually only when it's a legit injury. So I think, so I do legit think he was injured. That being said, he does have 5 days.
Oh, he does.
To recoup. So
you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, it could happen.
Until we're told otherwise, I think we have to consider it a triple threat match. I think Daniel Bryan is going to find some way to win this match. He always seems to, and I'm loving. The more I see what they're doing with Daniel Bryan, the more I'm loving it. That he's this grotty little wanker that gets out of these situations, and I find myself tuning into SmackDown every week, going, okay, how's he going to get himself out of this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't. A month ago, I hated it, strictly because I really wanted to see Daniel Bryan go the whole hero route, cash in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, like he said he was going to do, because no one's ever done that before. So that's what I really wanted to see them do it. And when they didn't do it, I was upset. But at the same time, seeing what they've done, I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think Daniel Bryan's got the match. What do you think?
I think he does too. If Henry is still in the show, I think it might go down to a point of where Henry and Big Show, they knock each other out.
Yeah.
And he escapes.
Yeah. I could see something like that.
Or if they're just like fighting and he like cowardly, like really bolts up the cage.
Just gone. And that's I'm glad you mentioned that too, because when we were sort of talking about this, I mentioned like what I'd really like to see at the beginning of the match is like the three of them are just sort of squaring off. The two big guys are looking at Bryan, and Bryan's like, because he's so much shorter than them. Yeah. And then he just bolts. And he just runs backwards and tries to scurry up the cage, and they pull him back. I'd really like to see the match start like that. I think it would be funny.
Notice you said before you were thinking, because with the big guys in cages, they always like to break the cage.
To break it's like a big show of strength to break the steel cage.
So what you were saying, like one of them might go and run Daniel Bryan into the cage, and he falls out first.
Yeah, exactly.
He would win.
Something like trying to like. I don't know if everybody remembers Bobby Lashley like launching himself through the cage onto Umaga and like breaking the whole half of the cage, which was really funny for how blissfully silly that it was. But I could almost see them doing something like that. That is like he wins the match, but not really. He won the match in the worst possible way, but still won. So I could see them maybe doing something like that, which I think would be kind of funny. But so we both got Daniel Bryan in the match, I think, and he might not hold the belt until Mania, but he might. I'm not sure.
You never know.
My problem with him holding the belt until WrestleMania is who on SmackDown could you see like headlining WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan at this point?
SmackDown?
like there's such the talent pool on SmackDown is so much shallower than Raw is.
It's true.
That there's only like a couple of guys that you can really see, like Vince giving these guys the ball to go out and co-headline WrestleMania. I don't know. But that, of course, remains to be seen. And then the only other singles match on the card, we have John Cena and Kane.
Yeah,
in a singles match. Yeah, embrace the hate. Here's a headline for everybody. John Cena's not going to embrace the hate.
No,
it's not going to happen.
He kind of did in the Stud days, and now, no.
Like, it's just, I know there's people holding out hope that for this, like, grand John Cena heel turn, and it might happen, like, after WrestleMania.
Quite possibly.
But they've already built up John Cena and The Rock, and they've put so much, and they put so much advertising into this match that, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to bring back Kane for like a couple weeks with this whole embrace the hate and have him lose.
And then have him lose, exactly. We're both on Kane for this match, by the way. Like I think we both think Kane's going to win the match because it would just.
I don't think it's going to be a clean win.
No.
Like, I think it's going to be disqualification.
Yeah.
More of Cena hitting Kane with a chair or something like that.
Right.
Where that could happen and Kane wins the match.
And then, but now, before everybody says, well, isn't that embracing the hate? No, because it's not a full-scale heel turn. I don't think John Cena can do a full-scale heel turn against Kane, because you're turning heel against a heel, which doesn't really work that way. But usually it doesn't really work that way, and I can't see Cena pulling that off. I do think both of us, I think that Kane's going to win the match. I agree. I don't think it's going to be a clean-cut win, because like a clean-cut win one way or the other usually tends to end a feud.
Yeah.
And I don't think this feud is over. I think this feud's going to keep going past the Royal Rumble.
Oh, for sure.
Because if it doesn't, who the hell else do you put Kane with?
Yeah.
Unless you want to move him over to SmackDown and do what he should have done when he first came back, which was beat up the guy that hurt him, which is Mark Henry.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to do that. So I think this storyline is going to continue on past WrestleMania, or past the Royal Rumble. Probably culminating at, what's the one pay-per-view that they do before WrestleMania? The one in February?
It's,
No Way Out?
No.
Oh, whatever.
I was just reading it this morning.
Oh, were you? Well, whatever the pay-per-view is between the Rumble and WrestleMania, usually they only have one. Maybe they might sneak a second one in there, but usually they only have one. It'll probably culminate in that match, because this is just a straight singles match. There's no stipulations on this match whatsoever. Yeah. It's not a loser leaves town. It's nothing. It's just a straight singles match. Not even no DQ. It's just a straight singles match.
And, I mean, it might change. Or
it could.
It could change right at the last moment.
Very easily. Yeah.
I mean, there's no say of what's going to happen.
No. And this might actually be a good time to bring in the other member of this merry little party, which is Zack Ryder. For those of you who watched Monday Night Raw this week, the show itself was not terrible. No. But up against the three previous episodes this month. Yeah. The three previous episodes this month, so far it was the worst Raw of 2012, simply because of this stuff that happened with Zack Ryder. And it's not Zack Ryder's fault. Oh, no. By any means. It's the writing. The writing was just bad. So he goes out and he has this match, this Falls Count Anywhere match with Kane, with the stipulation that if John Cena got involved, he would never get another shot at the U.S. title. Which, to me, it doesn't really... I think if I was Zack Ryder, I would have been like, okay, it's a secondary title anyway. Why don't I just go after the world title? Yeah. Like, he's not ready yet, but it's just like, it's like they always say on Aftermath, it's the little things. That is like, you'll never get another U.S. title opportunity again. And you're like, all right, I'll just go after the world title, I guess. You know what I mean? So it's just, it seemed like a little bit of a wonky stipulation, but, you know, the U.S. title was a big deal to Zack Ryder, so, okay.
Well, it's his first title.
Exactly. So then he goes out, well, besides the Internet Championship. Woo, woo, woo. So he goes out, they have this match, Kane just stomps the hell out of him, and then they do something that I thought was actually really cool, which is doing the choke slam through the staging.
Yeah.
In and of itself, that's perfectly fine.
Sure.
Because when that happened, I was like, oh shit, you put him through the stage. And then the match sort of, well, the match ends at that point, obviously.
Yeah.
But then it's everything that came after was fucking horrible.
What do you mean?
Everything that came after, like, him going through the stage.
Like Cena coming out and Kane going down.
Well, like Kane, like, going down after Eve. That was okay.
Yeah.
And then Cena comes out, but does absolutely nothing. He stands there and he looks at him.
Yeah.
And then Kane, like a frightened little girl, pieces out through the crowd. Cena doesn't go after him. Cena stands there and looks at Ryder. They diagnosed... Okay. They diagnosed Zack Ryder with a broken back. A broken back.
Means that he's not coming back.
Means that he'll probably never walk again. They wrap him up like half a mummy to take him out on their gurney.
Yeah.
2 days later, they're like, oh, don't worry, it's not a broken back, it's just a fractured vertebrae.
How can you fuck that up?
These are doctors. These are people that went to medical school. They're like, oh, don't worry, it's not a broken back, it's a fractured vertebrae. Now they're not even saying it's a fractured vertebrae. Now they're saying it's like herniated disc.
Herniated disc, yeah.
So, like, in, like, 5 days, they've downgraded him from broken back, probably crippled for the rest of his life, a la Dynamite Kid, to fractured vertebrae, who still probably be out for a year, needs that fusion surgery like Chris Benoit and Edge had, to now it's a herniated disc. Fuck's sake, my mom's got a herniated disc. That's... Now it's virtually nothing.
Yeah.
And it began with him being diagnosed with a broken back. I'm sorry. I think this particular part of the storyline is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Oh.
It's really, really, really bad writing. And it's something, what I hate the most about it is it's something that fucking TNA can point at and see like, hey, WWE can't tell a story either. But, sorry to all the TNA marks out there, but basically TNA's storytelling is terrible. Anyways, enough of that. So we've got Kane winning that match, both of us. We both have Daniel Bryan winning the World Heavyweight title match. We both have CM Punk winning the WWE title match. Good enough, great.